Hi, it's Kathy with Get a Book Deal 101. Okay, so you've got a book that you want to publish, but there's so much noise out there, so much information, so many possibilities as far as the way you can go about getting your book published that it can be a bit confusing. It can be overwhelming, and quite frankly, some of the information out there can be a bit misleading. So how do you make the decision? Well, I think it's pretty simple if you start by asking yourself, what is it that you want to accomplish with this book? What's your goal for publishing this book? If you look at it in that way, the route that you're going to take, self-published or traditional book route, becomes very clear. Here's what I mean by that. If your goal is to share the work that you have just sweated and toiled and are so proud of with your family and friends, then by all means you might want to consider self-publishing. Upload that puppy right now to Amazon or to Kindle and sit back and bask in the glory, in the love and praise that you're going to receive from those people that already know and are proud of you. But you might want to consider going the traditional book route if your goal is to reach a wider audience other than those people that you already know. If your goal is, for instance, maybe to become a full-time writer, for this book to be the first of many, to do that, you're going to want to be seen by more than just your family and friends. Or let's say maybe you want to use this book to help build your career in another way. Maybe it's not to be a writer, but you want to build your speaking rates, or get more speaking gigs, or build your consulting rate, or use your book to build your brand or your business. If that's the case, then you may want to consider going the traditional book route. Here's why I say this. The sad truth is that the average self-published writer only sells between 100 and 150 books. That's it. They only earn about $500 on their book. That's the average writer. Now, if you want to be above average when it comes to self-publishing, that of course is a possibility, but you're really going to need to have two things. The first is some money to support your book. Because if you self-publish and you want to do average or better than average, you're going to need to make sure that that book is also better than average. It needs to be better than what else is currently available on Amazon or Kindle or wherever you choose to self-publish. Guy Kawasaki, in his new book, Ape, Author, Publisher, Entrepreneur, explains that to self-publish successfully, he says you should expect to spend about $4,000. He says if you want your book to actually sell, it's going to need to be as good as a book that is traditionally published. And that means that you're going to need to have it professionally edited, and you're going to need to have your cover professionally designed at a bare minimum. Now keep in mind, Guy's book is a book promoting self-publishing. So he's certainly not trying to discourage anyone. He feels he's giving the truth and the facts. So if you want to self-publish and you want to sell more than just to your family and friends, the first thing you're probably going to need is some money to get that done. The second thing that you're going to need is some serious chops when it comes to selling content online. You're going to need to know how to move a product, how to market a product, and how to promote a product online. And that's really where most self-published authors fall short. They don't have the savvy to move that book, to get the buzz going behind that book. But again, if your goal is to be read by your inner circle, by your family and friends, then you don't need to worry about that. Self-publishing is your option. So if your goal is to be read by a wider audience, then let's talk just a minute about what it means to go the traditional book route. And let's start with the fact that the rumors that the publishing industry is dead are simply rumors. There are still book deals getting done. There are still book deals getting written for first-time writers, and they're getting written every day. In the first 6 months of this year, 230 first-time writers got book deals. That's almost 2 writers every business day. That's 2 writers a day that got a traditional book deal, and what that means is a publisher is putting a professional editor behind that book, a professional cover designer behind that book, a sales and marketing team behind that book. It means getting an advance check and royalties paid on top of advances if the book does well. It involves wider distribution and true credibility in saying that I have actually published a book. Okay, so to make the decision about whether you self-publish or you go the traditional book route, ask yourself first, what is my goal? But the second thing I want you to ask yourself was, what went through your mind when I said 2 writers a day are getting book deals? If what went through your mind was those writers just won the lottery, then you should probably self-publish. But if what went through your mind was, wait a minute, I could be one of those 2 writers. My book is good enough. My platform is strong enough. My writing is strong enough. then I think you should consider going the traditional book deal route. And if that's the way you want to go, then I would love to teach you how to get it done. And I do that through a free video training series. If you're interested in learning what are the steps in the book deal process, what do agents do, how do they make that deal happen, what goes into a winning query letter, then just drop your email in the box below this video and I'll see you on the first video.